Have you ever found yourself at a turning point, clinging to a relationship or friendship simply because it's what you know and feel comfortable with, even though deep down you sense it's preventing you from truly thriving? It's a hard truth to accept that sometimes those closest to us, the ones we've shared laughter, tears, and countless memories with, might not be meant to stay in our lives forever. This realization can be quite jarring, can't it? This is where the timeless wisdom of Stoicism comes into play, offering a transformative perspective on our modern challenges. The Stoics, with their deep understanding of human nature and the quest for a fulfilling life, remind us that personal growth often necessitates making tough decisions about who we allow into our inner circle. It's not about cutting people out harshly, but rather about mindfully curating our lives. It's about choosing relationships that uplift, inspire, and encourage us to be our best selves. So, if you're at that crossroads, feeling the weight of a decision that could reshape your life, know that you're not alone. Today, we delve into the core of Stoic wisdom to uncover the signs that it's time to gently release certain connections, making room for new growth, deeper relationships, and a life that aligns with your highest values. 1. Recognizing growth-stifling relationships. If a relationship is keeping you from growing, it's a warning sign. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever felt stuck, unable to move forward because someone close to you isn't supportive? Or worse, they're actively holding you back? It's a tough situation, isn't it? Seneca emphasized the importance of personal growth and self-improvement. He believed that to live a fulfilling life, we must continuously evolve, learn, and push our limits. So, if you're in a relationship, whether it's with a friend, family member, or partner, and you feel like you're unable to grow, Seneca would likely tell you that's a red flag you can't ignore. Now, I'm not saying every relationship needs to push you to your limits or set world records, but the people who care about you should want to see you thrive. They should be your cheerleaders, your support system, not anchors dragging you down into the depths of what if and if only. It's worth having a serious conversation with yourself. Why am I still holding on to this relationship? Is it out of habit, fear, loyalty? These are tough questions, but necessary ones. True connections, the ones that are truly worth your time and heart, should lift you up. They should make you feel like you can be more today than you were yesterday. Stoicism teaches us the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who contribute positively to our lives. It's not about having lots of friends or being popular. It's about creating a circle that enriches your life, encourages your growth, and aligns with your values. So, if you find yourself in a relationship that feels more like quicksand than a launching pad, it might be time to reconsider its place in your life. Remember, it's not selfish to want to grow. It's human. And sometimes growth means letting go of those who hold us back, not with bitterness, but with gratitude for the lessons learned and the strength gained from knowing when to say goodbye. Reflect on your relationships and consider whether they're bridges to your best self or barriers to your growth. And remember, the journey of self-improvement is never a solo trip. We need the right companions to truly make the journey worthwhile. The rise of negative emotions. If a relationship is preventing your growth, it's a serious warning sign. Take a moment to consider this. Have you ever felt stuck, unable to move forward because someone close to you isn't supportive, or worse, they're actively hindering your progress? It's a difficult situation to be in, isn't it? Seneca stressed the importance of personal growth and self-improvement. He believed that to lead a meaningful life, we must constantly evolve, learn, and push our boundaries. So, if you're in a relationship, whether it's with a friend, family member, or partner, and you feel stifled, Seneca would likely point out that this is a red flag that can't be ignored. I'm not suggesting that every relationship needs to push you to the edge or help you set new records, but the people who care about you should want to see you succeed. They should be your cheerleaders, your support system, not weights dragging you down into the depths of what if and if only. It's worth having an honest conversation with yourself. Why am I still in this relationship? Is it out of habit, fear, loyalty? These are challenging questions, but they're necessary. So if you find yourself in a relationship that feels more like a trap than a springboard, it might be time to reconsider its place in your life. Remember, it's not selfish to want to grow. It's human, and sometimes growth means letting go of those who hold us back, not with bitterness, but with gratitude for the lessons learned and the strength gained from knowing when to move on. 3. Doubt and restrain. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of autonomy and being the captain of your own ship. If you find yourself in a relationship where you're constantly doubting your decisions or feeling restrained, it's crucial to ask why. Why stay in a situation that stifles your freedom and prevents you from writing your own life story? Cutting ties with someone who manipulates or controls you isn't about being harsh or unkind. It's about respecting your worth, your autonomy, and your right to live a life that's true to yourself. It's about embracing Epictetus's wisdom and reclaiming your freedom. The freedom to make your own choices, to grow, and to live according to your values. Making the decision to leave such relationships can be incredibly difficult. It might mean letting go of something familiar or someone you care deeply about. But remember, Stoicism isn't about choosing the easy path. It's about choosing the right path. Sometimes the right path is the one that leads us away from what harms us and towards a more authentic, fulfilling life. True relationships, the ones that genuinely enrich our lives, respect our individuality and freedom. They encourage us to explore, to question, and to grow. They don't try to mold us into something we're not or dictate how we should live our lives. If you feel like someone is controlling you, reflect on Epictetus's words. No one is free who is not master of himself. Ask yourself if it's time to cut those strings and embrace your freedom to be authentically you. This journey is worth taking. A step towards a life where you're in control, surrounded by relationships that uplift and respect your autonomy and freedom. Let's cherish and seek out those connections that empower us, that allow us to be the masters of our own lives. Because true friendship and love should set us free, not hold us back. What happens when a relationship starts doing more harm than good? When spending time with someone leaves you feeling more drained than energized, more stressed than supported? It's like walking on eggshells, caught in endless arguments, or just feeling down whenever they're around. These are clear red flags that something is seriously wrong. Healthy connections, the kind we all deserve, should enrich our lives. They should bring joy and support us through the ups and downs. They shouldn't complicate our lives with constant stress or make us question our worth. 4. The dangers of manipulation and control. The Stoics emphasized living in harmony with nature, including our own nature, and striving for a life of virtue and peace. They believed in maintaining relationships that align with these principles. So, if you find yourself in a relationship that's disrupting your peace and preventing you from being your best self, consider what the Stoics might suggest. They'd likely advise you to step back and objectively assess the situation. Is this relationship enhancing your well-being and helping you grow, or is it a constant source of negativity, draining your energy and leaving you worse off? If it's the latter, it might be time to question if this connection is serving your highest good. Stoicism teaches us the value of self-awareness and the courage to make tough decisions that align with our well-being and virtues. This isn't about being cold or unfeeling. It's about recognizing what is truly beneficial for us in the long run. Sometimes that means making the difficult choice to distance ourselves from relationships that do more harm than good. This doesn't mean every rough patch signifies a toxic relationship that should end. But if you consistently feel worse because of someone's presence in your life, it's a clear sign that something needs to change. Healthy relationships have their challenges, but at their core, they are sources of support, love, and mutual growth. If this resonates with your current situation, take a moment to reflect on what steps you can take to address the issues. Communication is key. Perhaps it's time for an honest, open conversation about how you're feeling. If things don't change, remember it's okay to prioritize your peace and well-being. The Stoics would remind us that we have a responsibility to ourselves to nurture healthy relationships and let go of those that aren't. Let's commit to seeking out and cultivating connections that feel healthy and add value to our lives, rather than complicate them. At the end of the day, we all deserve relationships that bring us joy, growth, and tranquility. Remember, facing these challenges and making tough decisions is how we grow stronger and more aligned with our true selves. That's the Stoic way, embracing what serves us and having the wisdom to let go of what doesn't. A lack of mutual respect is another deal breaker. Without respect, there is no foundation for anything positive. It's like trying to build a house on sand. Eventually, it's going to collapse. The Stoics, who were strong advocates of living a virtuous life, placed great emphasis on self-respect and the respect we owe to others. They believed that every individual has inherent worth and dignity, and this belief should be reflected in how we treat each other. So, if you find yourself in a relationship where you're not being treated with the dignity you deserve, it's a massive red flag. It's not just about feeling undervalued. It's about recognizing that a fundamental aspect of your humanity is being disregarded. Mutual respect is the bedrock of any healthy connection. It's the foundation upon which trust, love, and genuine understanding are built. If that's missing, then what's left? You're left with a relationship that's hollow, unfulfilling, and not worth your time and emotional investment. I understand that relationships are complex and emotions are powerful, but this is where the wisdom of Stoicism can guide us. The Stoics were all about clarity, rationality, and living in alignment with our highest values. They would encourage us to step back and assess our relationships through this lens. Are we being true to ourselves by staying in a situation where we're not respected? Are we honoring our inherent worth and the virtues we strive to live by? If the answer is no, then it might be time for a serious reassessment. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting someone out of your life with cold precision. Instead, it's about recognizing your own value and making decisions that reflect that. It might mean setting clearer boundaries, having a heart-to-heart conversation about how you're feeling, or in some cases, acknowledging that it's time to move on. Remember, respecting yourself is the first step towards a life of true fulfillment. 5. Identifying harmful relationship dynamics. Recognizing harmful dynamics in relationships and insisting on respect is not selfish or demanding. It reflects the self-worth the Stoics believed everyone should cultivate. It's about living with integrity and ensuring your relationships mirror the respect and virtue you strive for in your own life. If you're experiencing a lack of mutual respect, take time to reflect on its impact on your well-being. Think about how you can address this issue in a way that honors your dignity and values. We all deserve relationships where we are treated with the respect and consideration we offer in return. Let's work towards building connections rooted in mutual respect, where each person is valued and appreciated. These are the relationships that not only survive, but thrive, reflecting the best of what it means to live a life grounded in Stoic wisdom and virtue. 6. Embracing reality over illusions. Stoicism is fundamentally about acceptance, accepting the reality of our lives, relationships, and the world around us, not as we wish them to be, but as they truly are. The Stoics teach us that there is great strength and freedom in seeing things clearly, without the rose-colored glasses of illusion. This means taking an honest look at our relationships and asking ourselves if they are rooted in reality or if we are holding on to a fantasy. Are we ignoring red flags, glossing over issues, or idealizing someone in a way that doesn't match who they truly are. Holding on to illusions in a relationship can feel like being stuck in a mirage. From a distance, everything looks perfect, but up close it's just an illusion lacking substance and truth. This doesn't mean that hope and aspirations have no place in relationships. They do. But there's a fine line between healthy aspirations and losing ourselves in fantasies that prevent us from engaging with the true nature of our connections. Embracing the truth, as the Stoics advise, means confronting these illusions head-on. It requires the courage to recognize and accept the reality of our relationships, even when it's uncomfortable or painful. This level of honesty and vulnerability can be daunting, but there is incredible power in truth. It's the foundation upon which genuine, meaningful relationships are built. This process of embracing reality over illusion can be transformative. It might mean acknowledging that a relationship isn't what you thought it was, or that the person you're with isn't who you hoped they would be. This realization can be difficult to accept, but it is a crucial step toward genuine growth and emotional freedom. It opens up the possibility of engaging in relationships that are authentic, where you can love and be loved for who you truly are, not for the illusions you've constructed. If you find yourself tethered to illusions, take a moment to reflect. What aspects of your relationship are real, and what parts have you embellished or imagined? How does this alignment or lack thereof affect your happiness and well-being? Stoicism isn't about pessimism or resigning ourselves to unhappiness. It's about finding peace and contentment by aligning ourselves with the truth of how things are. By accepting reality, we can navigate our lives and relationships with wisdom, clarity, and a sense of groundedness that illusions simply cannot provide. Let's challenge ourselves to view our relationships through the lens of Stoic acceptance. Embrace the truth, however hard it may be, and open ourselves to genuine, fulfilling connections that enrich our lives in meaningful ways. In the clarity of truth, we find the path to real happiness and love. 7. Compromising values. Compromising your values should never be an option. These principles guide us, acting as a moral compass that directs our decisions, actions, and ultimately, our life's course. Here's a question that might hit closer to home than we'd like. What happens when a relationship challenges your core values, asking you to compromise on what you hold dear? This is a difficult situation that demands our attention. And yes, Stoicism offers invaluable insights on this matter. The Stoics would argue that compromising our core values for the sake of a relationship is too high a price to pay. Why? Because our values define who we are. They shape our identity, influence our choices, and dictate how we interact with the world. Compromising on these values means losing a part of ourselves, and no relationship is worth that. Being in a relationship that requires you to act against your values might start with small things, but over time, these compromises add up, eroding your sense of self and the principles you live by. This isn't just about making sacrifices or compromises, which are normal in any healthy relationship. It's about betraying the very core of your being. The Stoics teach us that integrity and virtue are not just lofty ideals, but practical guides for living a good life. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca all emphasize the importance of staying true to oneself and living in alignment with one's values, regardless of external pressures or temptations. This alignment gives our lives meaning, direction, and purpose. So, if you find yourself in a situation where a relationship demands you to betray your values, it's a clear signal to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this relationship serving my highest good? Is it allowing me to grow and thrive, or is it holding me back, asking me to be someone I'm not? This is not an easy situation to navigate, especially when emotions are involved, but this is where the Stoic practice of self-reflection and rational analysis can be your ally. By stepping back and assessing the relationship through the lens of your values, you can make decisions that are right for you and honor the person you strive to be. Remember, walking away from a relationship that compromises your values is not a sign of failure. It's a courageous act of self-respect. It's a declaration that you value yourself enough to only accept relationships that uplift you, respect you, and align with who you are. Let's challenge ourselves to live with the integrity and virtue the Stoics admired. Let's ensure our relationships reflect and respect our values, not undermine them. Because at the end of the day, it's our adherence to these values that defines us, guides us through life's ups and downs, and leads us to true fulfillment. Keep your values close, cherish them, and never compromise on them for anyone or anything. By doing so, you'll not only honor the wisdom of the Stoics, but also pave the way for relationships that are genuine, meaningful, and truly enriching. 8. Reciprocity in relationships. When we talk about reciprocity, we mean the balance of give and take between people. It's about mutual support, where both parties contribute equally to the relationship. But what happens when this balance is off, when you find yourself in a one-sided relationship, always giving but rarely receiving? It's a situation many of us have faced, and it's far from ideal. Reciprocity is not just a nice to have, it's essential to the health and longevity of any relationship. Think about it. A relationship where one person is always the giver and the other always the receiver is fundamentally unbalanced. It can lead to feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and underappreciation on the part of the giver, and dependency or entitlement on the part of the receiver. This imbalance undermines the essence of a healthy relationship. The Stoics had much to say about the nature of relationships and the importance of mutual support. They valued contributing to others' well-being, but not at the expense of one's own. For the Stoics, the ideal relationship was one of harmony and mutual respect, where both individuals support each other in their pursuit of virtue and a good life. If you're stuck in a one-sided relationship, take a moment to reflect on the Stoic principles of balance and mutual respect. Are you respecting yourself by allowing this imbalance to continue? 9. Respecting others in relationships. Are you respecting the other person by allowing a dynamic that doesn't encourage their growth or contribution? Addressing this imbalance doesn't necessarily mean ending the relationship. It can be an opportunity for growth for both parties. It starts with communication, expressing your needs, setting boundaries, and discussing ways to bring more balance into the relationship. It's about encouraging the other person to contribute more, not just materially, but emotionally and spiritually as well. Healthy relationships are dynamic. They evolve over time. They require effort, compromise, and a willingness to adapt. But the foundation should always be one of reciprocity. Each person should feel valued, heard, and supported. This mutual support builds trust, deepens connections, and fosters an environment where both individuals can thrive. Remember, seeking balance in your relationships is not selfish, it's necessary. It's about ensuring that you're not just giving, but also receiving the support, love, and respect you deserve. It's about building relationships that are not just sustainable, but truly enriching for both parties. Let's strive to cultivate relationships where reciprocity is the norm, not the exception. Let's embrace the Stoic ideals of balance and mutual respect, creating connections that uplift and support everyone involved. In the give and take of life, we find the true essence of meaningful relationships. 10. Recognizing and exiting abusive relationships. This is a difficult subject to address, but it's crucial to talk about. Abuse in any form, whether physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological, is a clear, unequivocal signal that it's time to leave the relationship. Stoicism, a philosophy deeply rooted in the principles of dignity, self-respect, and the value of the human spirit, unequivocally condemns any form of abuse. Such behavior not only violates Stoic principles of respect for oneself and others, but also destroys the very foundation of trust and safety that relationships should be built upon. Stoicism teaches us the importance of recognizing our inherent worth and insists on maintaining our dignity and self-respect. These are not just lofty ideals, but practical guidelines meant to direct our actions and choices, especially in the face of adversity. When we find ourselves in situations where these fundamental principles are being violated, Stoicism urges us to take action, not out of vengeance or anger, but out of respect for ourselves and the innate value of our well-being. Abuse tramples on dignity and self-respect. It seeks to diminish the victim's sense of self, to control, and to instill fear. This is antithetical to everything Stoicism stands for. The Stoic response to such a situation is clear. Seeking help and exiting the relationship is not just important, it's necessary. It's a step that aligns with the Stoic commitment to living a life that is virtuous and dignified, one that respects the inherent worth of every individual, starting with oneself. Exiting an abusive relationship is undoubtedly one of the most challenging decisions one might ever have to make. It requires immense courage, strength, and often support from others. This is where the Stoic practice of seeking wisdom from those who have faced similar challenges, or from professionals who can offer guidance and support, becomes invaluable. Seeking help, whether from friends, family, or professional services, is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It's an affirmation of one's worth and a commitment to living a life free from harm. Stoicism doesn't just advocate for exiting abusive situations, it also emphasizes the process of healing and reclaiming one's dignity and self-respect after such experiences. It teaches us that while we may not have control over the actions of others, we have control over how we respond to those actions and how we move forward. The journey of healing from abuse is, in many ways, a Stoic journey. It's about reasserting control over one's inner world, reaffirming one's values, and rebuilding one's life in alignment with those values. Let's be clear, if you're in a situation where you're facing abuse, know that it's not your fault and you're not alone. Reaching out for help, leaning on the strength of those who support you, and taking steps to leave such a situation behind are all actions that reflect the highest respect you can show yourself. Taking steps towards a life where your dignity, self-respect, and well-being are prioritized is crucial. In the spirit of Stoicism, let's remember the importance of valuing ourselves, respecting our inherent worth, and taking decisive action to remove ourselves from harmful situations. We must stand firm in our commitment to dignity, self-respect, and the pursuit of a life that is not just free from abuse, but also rich in virtue and meaning. 11. Overcoming failed communication. Failed communication can be a significant hurdle in relationships. When attempts to talk things out lead nowhere, finding common ground feels impossible, and mutual understanding seems out of reach, it's more than a minor issue. It's a red flag indicating deeper problems that need addressing. Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, offers guidance on this matter. Effective communication is the foundation of any thriving relationship. It's how we express our needs, share our thoughts, and connect meaningfully. Without it, we navigate our relationships blindly, often misunderstanding the other person's thoughts or feelings. The Stoics valued clear, honest communication. They practiced and taught the importance of listening, understanding, and responding with wisdom and empathy. So, what do we do when communication breaks down? First, it's essential to recognize that failed communication is often a symptom of underlying issues. Lack of trust, unresolved resentments, or differences in communication styles. Whatever the root cause, Stoicism teaches us to approach the problem with a clear head and a willing heart. It encourages us to look inward, examining our own role in the communication breakdown, and strive for clarity and honesty in our interactions. Marcus Aurelius advocated using reason and logic to navigate life's challenges. He would suggest applying these tools to address communication issues. This means stepping back, minimizing emotional reactions, and analyzing the situation objectively. Where is communication failing? Why? What steps can improve it? Improving communication requires effort from all involved. It's about creating a safe space where each person feels heard and valued, actively listening, and trying to understand the other's perspective. It's about expressing oneself clearly and respectfully, avoiding accusations or assumptions, and having the patience and persistence to keep trying even when progress seems slow. Stoicism also emphasizes empathy and compassion in communication. Everyone has their struggles, fears, and insecurities. What seems like hostility or indifference might be a defense mechanism. By approaching communication with empathy, we open the door to deeper understanding and connection. Failed communication doesn't have to end a relationship. Instead, it can be an opportunity for growth for both individuals and the relationship. It's a chance to learn more about each other, develop better communication skills, and build a stronger, more resilient bond. If you face communication challenges, reflect on the Stoic principles of clarity, honesty, and empathy. Use these as your guide to navigate the issues. Remember, the goal isn't just to talk more, but to communicate better. In effective communication, we find the essence of connection and understanding, the foundations of meaningful relationships. As we conclude this journey, remember that your well-being, dignity, and peace of mind are paramount. Stoicism teaches us to value ourselves, to respect our inherent worth, and to take decisive action when faced with adversity. It's not about avoiding discomfort, but about building resilience and making choices that align with our highest values. When a relationship disrupts your tranquility, it's an opportunity to practice Stoic wisdom. Reflect, evaluate, and choose the path that leads to peace. Surround yourself with relationships that uplift and support you, those that contribute to your growth and joy. Remember, the quality of your life is deeply influenced by the quality of your relationships. Embrace the journey of seeking truth, cultivating respect, and ensuring that your connections enrich your life without compromising your peace. Let the Stoic principles we've explored today be a guiding light, helping you navigate through the challenges and joys of your relationships. Together, we can build a life that is not only free from harm, but also rich in virtue, purpose, and profound fulfillment. Stay strong, stay true to yourself, and continue to seek the tranquility that lies within.